Real Housewives of Potomac, season 7 reunion part 2. My God, my God, guys. I just let's just get started. Let's just go. I took down some little notes, child, and because there's so much. I was just thinking of different ways to approach this review. Last night I couldn't do it. I was too fired up. It just would have been awful. It just would have been a lot, and YouTube probably would have took me down, to be honest. So I just, and we all know the rules that YouTube gives the girls now, so we have to be mindful of that. I'm getting a haircut randomly. I'm getting a haircut. My hair's not washed. When it's washed, it's luxurious and all that. But I just want a haircut. I just want to start over, and I'm just gonna grow my hair back out. I'm deciding before I get old to go ahead and just try and grow my hair back out. My hairline is, inching right on back like Stevie Wonder, and I don't want to be. We love Stevie, legend, but I don't want to be Stevie with all this hair back here. The hairline start back here in the back of his leg, just hair all the way down here. But all this up here is gone. No. Before I start to recede or go bald in certain areas, my hair already starting to thin. Before I go completely bald in certain areas, I'm just going to be bald. I'm just going to cut it off myself and stay bald. And hell, as long as they keep making wigs and weaves, I can be who I want to be. Hello? Anyway, so the episode began with they're still going back and forth, meaning Candiace and Gizelle. Gizelle cannot admit to anything. Gizelle cannot relate to anything. Nothing applies to her. She just don't get it. She just don't get it. And it's simply because she doesn't want to. She cannot be this just in the clouds. Gizelle, you cannot be this way. Gizelle has raised 3 amazing daughters, it seems. She has raised 3 amazing kids. So Gizelle, in my opinion, you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. But we are so sick of you. We are beyond sick of you, Gizelle. You are one of the nastiest people to ever grace our TV screens, our phones, our tablets, our computers. We are tired of you, Gizelle. You are just, I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know any of these people personally. I don't know anybody personally on these shows. I review nothing like that. I'm just reviewing what I see for however many minutes they're on, right? But my God, I don't know how you can excel at one thing, being a great mom, but then fail at everything else in life when at the end of the day, yes, these are your kids, but people are people, right? The way you treat people is the way that you would want to be treated, right? Correct? So the fact that you're just so nasty and I can't, hold on. Oh, drop my notes. Anyway, so Gizelle and Candiace are going back and forth. Andy posed a great question. I wasn't as mad at Andy for hosting this reunion. I wasn't as irritated at Andy for hosting this reunion. Although I do still think that they need to shake it up sometimes and get another host or whatever. I feel like Andy did decent. Considering everything that, was happening. I felt like he did, well. So I guess shouts out to Andy Cohen. We're not going to do too much because, he going to do something else. But shouts out to Andy Cohen. And happy Black History Month. So anyway, let me see. So they're going back up. Andy's okay. The question was, Andy said, "Okay, Gizelle, did he make you feel uncomfortable, or did he do something to you?" And she was like, "No, he made me feel uncomfortable." Blah blah blah. We already talked about what I think happened after the reunion last year. We all know how it happened. We saw that clip of Chris telling Gizelle, "We'll talk about it later." and stuff, and that's what happened. Went into the dressing room, talked about it. I think he talked about how he didn't like how Candiace was getting scolded by Nicki Minaj. He didn't like how Gizelle was nasty and like she always is to Candiace. And I think that he gave Gizelle a good verbal lashing. She did not like that. Her, Ashley, and Robyn schemed together and created the storyline. Decided to come at everybody's relationship except for their effed up ones. Robyn. Child, I couldn't believe it. When they started talking to Candiace about when they started talking about Robyn, about the recording that she did of Candiace and showed the table when Candiace was on Instagram Live reading everybody. She started talking about, yeah, everything should be talked about on the show. You can't, we're on a reality show. Everything should be, we should talk about everything going on in our lives. And to know that, and to know everything we know about Robyn and Juan now, and to know that Gizelle has always hidden things, and to just know how the rules are always different for them, and I just can't. Candiace, I truly hope you know that Robyn is not your friend. That man is not your friend at all. The fact that she had all this tea going on with her real life, the fact that all this stuff was going on, that her life was a hot, raggedy mess, yet she still kept this whole thing going, regardless of whether or not she was on Chris' side or not, for, a few episodes is beside the fact. The fact that she knew that this whole Chris thing that Gizelle made up was BS, and she still kept it going. She participated in it. She's just as guilty as Gizelle. And you said yourself, Candiace, this is what they do. This is what they do. Them help us get together every season and decide who they're going to come for. And what information they're going to leak about their own lives and what they're going to conceal. I can't. But I love the fact that Bravo kept playing Robyn. And they kept showing all her lies. They kept showing everything that was happening. It was beautiful. It was definitely nice to see. There's still a lot that Bravo or the cast need to handle, need to do better on. But for the most part, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying them catching everybody in their lives. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we got on the Robyn recording thing. Candiace said, you could have put me off to the side, friend, and talked to me about that. Robyn said she got the clip from a blog post and they only showed the negative things that Candiace was saying. They got on how, she didn't include Wendy and stuff when she was talking about how loyalty and a real friendship, and Candiace started talking about how she'd been knowing Robyn longer and blah, 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 blah. And which I get that, but Wendy was brought to the show by Candiace. And, how they do on these reality shows. They make people seem like they're closer than what they are when they bring somebody on. Half the time, the people barely know each other. So, I mean, I get that. I understood what Candiace was saying. And like I said, this reunion was filmed prior to all this information coming out about Robyn. So, I mean, I guess. But Candiace, in due time, in real time, I hope you understand that Wendy has your back. And to be honest with you, y'all two sisters need to stick together. If y'all gonna continue to be a part of the show, I genuinely don't know how y'all do it, being a part of this show. And we're gonna get on the colorism stuff in a minute. But I don't know how y'all do it by being on the show. I'm not saying you should run from anybody and not face nobody. And we need a check. You enjoy the show probably. I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be here, but what I'm saying is that, aren't you tired? I would get tired. I would get tired, even if I'm in the right, even if I'm proving how evil the other ladies are every season. It would still just get tiring to me you know, just being bothered with. And then, child, allegedly, according to my good girlfriend, in my head, we haven't met yet. Briefly, we met, you know, online, but you know, in my head, my good girlfriend, one of them, Layla Lynn. Y'all go to her channel, and she had some of the salaries of what the Real Housewives of Potomac ladies are allegedly getting. And sister, it's low. It's low. It's low. I got her song going in my head. Layla, 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 tells it all. Layla. That's the remix. But yeah, it's just all that for this. Hell. Y'all ain't making number $2 more than what I make. Oh, child. But anyway. They cut for lunch. Let me see. Oh, Gizelle's little segment. I could care nothing about the winter house, summer house, fall house, spring house. I don't watch those shows. Not saying they're not good. I just don't watch them. But I feel like Gizelle's relationship with this young man is a made for Bravo situation. I don't know that to be fact. But in my mind, I feel like that's what it is. It's fake and phony. I don't care nothing about that old lady. Going with that little boy. And then nothing going on. He looked like her brother. And I don't care. And I don't care about Ashley's relationship with the spring house boy either. Let me see. Oh, and they got on Gizelle wanting information out of other people that she would never give for herself. I mean, she does that all the time. I'm just glad they're finally clocking Gizelle some. It's not enough for everything she's done, but it's a little bit, you know, not a lot, just a little bit. It's a little bit. So, baby steps, child. Even when she started talking about her having to have her hysterectomy and stuff. It was at one point she was just like, oh, we'll talk about it later. Like she, you know, buddy friends with Andy. Maybe she is. But clearly you can tell that Gizelle has privileges and have been privileged on the show. I mean, look at the seating. What has Gizelle had done? What has Gizelle brought to the show in the past few years in terms of her own storyline? When was her last storyline? Since Sherman? Or something, I don't know. Gizelle should have been sitting where Wendy was sitting. It's ridiculous. It's y'all had people arguing, sitting right beside each other. That's not what we do around here. Robyn and Candiace sitting here arguing, and they sit directly across, an inch from each other. I said, this is just foolish. Foolish. Whose idea was this? Y'all should have had Karen, Candiace and Wendy on one couch, and everybody else on the other couch. At this point, we got to separate it. Light skin is over here, dark skin is over here. It is what it is. Outside of Karen, it is what it is. That's just how the show is. It's unfortunate. I hate it. But, you know. Okay. Let me see. We got on Wendy's segment. Mia throwing a drink. Mia's just about as dense as they come. I don't know. I don't even think she can help it, really. She said she delivered a message poorly. She's still in her mind. She was trying to be a friend, blah, blah, blah. Wendy got upset, as she should. It's crazy because I thought Wendy and Mia squashed this entire situation. Now, obviously, in real life, somebody do some crazy stuff like that, you probably wouldn't get over it. But since neither one of them are trying to leave the show, it is what it is. You gotta either just ignore each other, which is impossible, or agree to move on. And I thought that they agreed to move on, but I guess not. Mia brought up this whole lie talking about Wendy sleeping with Peter. And I was just saying, girl, moving on from that. Nobody believes that, Mia. Shut up. You know, they got on Robyn and the whole antagonistic thing with her calling Wendy antagonistic. Wendy read her saying that how dare you talk. She should have brought up why she filmed me. If you felt like Wendy was being antagonistic and stuff, why were you only talking to Wendy A B, why were you only filming Wendy? A, and Robyn pretty much tried to make it seem like she was looking out for Wendy. She did not want to see her fight and stuff. Oh, you didn't want to see her fight? Oh, either fight or just be quiet. How can somebody be quiet when somebody has just threw a drink in somebody's face and hit them with a hard pocketbook? And Robyn, you are the most aggressive person on the show. You have the strongest back out of any woman on this show. And the fact that they kept showing receipts and you still sat there and act like you ain't did nothing or nothing pertains to you. Robyn and Gizelle are so agitating, just irritating, and my God. I said she don't want to see her fighting on TV and all this kind of stuff. I said, girl, go. Please. You know, they got on Robyn. She started to talk about I almost knocked my glasses off. Rob, you see I'm passionate about this thing. Robyn, she said she felt like because her and Wendy were not friends, Karen would have been the best person to defuse the situation. What was Karen gonna do? And we all know Karen, we love Karen, but Karen is for Karen, let's be honest. And on top of that, Karen is the oldest person there. Like, I know, I guess you're supposed to, you know, you should respect the oldest person in the room and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, what was Karen supposed to do? Especially with She-Hulk, Mia. Mia's stronger than all the men in the restaurant. So, I mean, what was she supposed to do? I say, y'all are a mess. Y'all forever trying to throw Karen under the bus. She don't even be thinking about y'all half the time. That's why she reads y'all every single time. Let me see. They got on Ashley flip-flopping. You know, with the whole Mia thing. With the whole Mia versus Wendy versus the Candiace versus Monique situation. My God, Monique, you know, I didn't agree with everything that happened between you and Candiace. But you might as well just come on back to the show. Because you ain't on your other, they kicked you off your other show, ain't it? So you might as well, Monique, you might as well come on back to Potomac. Because what else you gonna do? And then on top of that, they keep bringing you up every second. I mean, they talk about Monique so much. Monique been gone for 2 or 3 seasons, and they still bring up Monique Samuels. So, Monique, you might as well come on back, child. Put up them oils for a minute and come on back to Potomac. Because, my God, you are famous on this show. Okay, so we're going to move on. Let me see. Gizelle. And this really kind of broke my heart for Wendy. For me, it made me mad. You know, they brought up Gizelle and how she rode so hard for Candiace, which she don't really care about Candiace. Gizelle rode for Candiace because she liked Candiace a little bit more than she liked Monique. She couldn't stand Monique. So she got Monique off the show. And that whole thing worked. And they tried to do the same thing with Wendy, but it didn't work this time. So they got on that with Gizelle. How she was riding hard for Candiace and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, I felt like Candiace got beat up. With Wendy, she just had a drink through in her face. And let's just be honest, I don't like her. So it wasn't my concern on what happened to her. I said, that was just so... Listen, I saw something on Twitter where somebody said, oh, well, she just keeping it real. If you don't like somebody, you don't care. The point is, there's a thing about maturity and emotional intelligence. And it's one thing to not like a person. It's another thing to be okay with watching them, so to speak, get stumped in the street. That's a different thing. There's nothing... Because... At the end of the day, as much as you love your family, as much as you love your kids, as much as you love your parents, that ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Nobody else could give a damn about them. But you would never want that to happen to somebody that you care about. So the fact that you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes as an aging beauty and see what's right, regardless of whether you like them or not, and see what's wrong, regardless of whether you like them or not, is absolutely disgusting, Gizelle. And I just can't. You would never be every hue, ever. I just can't. Wendy got emotional. She started to cry. And it's just so ugly. It's so ugly. It's basically what y'all saying. This woman is a doctor, a mother, a pillar in the community. And basically what y'all saying is that she deserves to get her ass whooped just because you personally don't like her. Off a situation that she read you about because you was coming for her marriage. So she's just supposed to sit there and just take all y'all mess and never defend herself or say nothing. Colorism. Colorism. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Child, now, Andy, I guess he's been reading the Twitter comments, and he said that he is a white man. He, don't understand this conversation. He shouldn't be the one leading it, which we all agreed. But then they said that the producers asked the ladies if they wanted a moderator or not, and they said no. I said that was mistake number one. Why would you ask any of them anything? It's not about... It's about them, but it's not. This is a bigger issue that goes beyond Real Housewives of Potomac. And they have attempted to have these kind of conversations before, and it never goes well because everybody doesn't admit to colorism on the cast. That's the biggest problem, is admitting that you have a problem. Nobody, over half the cast, benefits from colorism. Over half the cast is light-skinned black women or ambiguous women. So, or multiracial women. So it's just like, well, why are we asking them anything? That's like when VH1 did the colorism special with Shawnee O'Neal and Mark Lamont. Why are you asking Shawnee when Shawnee was the one that treated OG like a dirty dog in the street, as well as the others? But you asking her about colorism when no matter what she's been through or however the situation is, not trying to take away nobody's pain, but she benefits from this thing. So how, it's the same kind of logic. It's just stupid. So anyway, Candiace, she read the technical definition of colorism. And then she went on and gave an example of colorism on how she kept saying she could be emotional and, act the fool and stuff. And Robyn could do the same thing, but her thing is harped on. I said, that's a good example, but that was a very light example, Candiace. But even her, she said, even her and Wendy, I guess they agreed that there's no colorism on this cast. Because, I don't know, they would probably kick them off or something. Because they'd be like, well, why are you here? Or you don't feel comfortable. Or maybe it's legal things. I don't know. Obviously, they want to stay on this show. But colorism is definitely a part of the Housewives of Potomac. It is a part of life. Robyn said, well, I've been called aggressive and da-da-da-da-da. And then Gizelle, she started to talking about, well, how are you being emotional has to do with your skin color. You see why you needed a moderator? Because they're going to pick one little thing that you said. They're going to act like they don't know what you're talking about, first of all. But then they're going to pick one little thing that you said and harp on that one thing because nobody wants to admit to it. Because in their mind, why would you admit to something that benefits you? Why would I admit to robbing 4 banks when I'm over here in the Bahamas somewhere off the money that, why would I admit to it? I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just talking about I paid for this. It's hard-earned money. Why? Why? I wish Wendy would have spoke up more in that moment. The fact that they feel so comfortable disrespecting you and Candiace, Wendy, is colorism. The fact that, and she could say whether it's just she don't like you or not, whatever. The fact that Gizelle is not willing to accept your apology or to even bury the hatchet with you. When Karen has done worse things to Gizelle than what you did, Wendy. The fact that she's not willing to bury the hatchet with you at all is a sign of colorism. Because, this little black girl don't mean nothing. Child, forget her. Constantly disrespecting you. I don't like her. Kept pointing over in your direction. And you forever, you know, like got to keep it together, keep it dignified and all that. Like the fact that you even feel that pressure to always have to be sophisticated and dignified. It's outside of not just because of your job, but because you know the repercussions of that. If you was to come out, if you to come outside your neck and knock Mia in the head and follow up with Gizelle. Yes, you would be in the right. Yes. We don't promote violence. We don't like violence. But yes, you would be in the right in this situation. But you already know what comes with that. And the stigma that black people, black women, dark-skinned black women have. Dark-skinned black men have. The fact that you even feel all that, that's all colorism. Karen wrapped it up in a nice bow. She talked about, you know, her family owns a plantation that they grew up on and all that kind of stuff. You know, the lighter skinned slaves in the house, darker skinned slaves in the field. All the stuff we've been hearing, all the stuff I've been hearing since I was 5 years old. We know that. Let's talk about the real. Let's talk about the real on this show. Regardless of how down Ashley seems like she is, Ashley is full of BS. Just like Karen is for Karen, Ashley is for Ashley. And Wendy, watch your back with that one, with that Ashley. Because, you know, her and Candiace started off as friends too. In fact, Ashley brought Candiace onto the show. So, I mean, I'm just saying, just you know, watch yourself. This colorism topic would never be talked about again on the show, I'm sure. They gave everybody the opportunity to spill it, and it was a fail for me. But I mean, what can you do? Really? How much can you preach? How much can you talk about something when you continue to be on the show with these people? So, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? I'm going to continue to talk about it just because it's who I am. It's always going to be a part of life. It's always going to be a part of this show. But yeah, the next time y'all want to holler colorism, the other ladies are going to look at you like you crazy because they don't believe it is. One thing I can say is that Mia has sense every so often. And she did say that she did get teary-eyed. She did say that she felt bad because she's raising a brown-skinned daughter, and she is. All of them have brown-skinned daughters. All of them, except for the ones who have sons. And so she said that, you know, she never want to be accused of this and this and this and this and that. And at least she was able to connect that with her child being darker than her. At least she was able to have that connection. Not that it's going to change anything. Because, you know, her child is her child, but that's still not you. You still benefit, madame. And whatever. But at least she felt that and had that kind of connection. Gizelle felt nothing. And nothing related to her, even though she has brown-skinned daughters. And so does Karen, you know. And so Gizelle don't get it. She don't get it. I guess maybe because she feels like because she has darker skinned daughters that it don't apply to her, or she can't be colorist in any kind of way. It's foolish. It's foolish. These are old people, by the way. Old. Okay. So last but not least, I've been preaching, child. What did they get on? Jacqueline. Jacqueline looked nice. We see her coming out, and her and Mia is going back and forth and doing their thing. They both pull out jeweled boxes on receipts they got of each other, and I guess Mia gonna talk about Jacqueline allegedly sleeping with married men. We don't care. And I guess Jacqueline gonna talk about Mia allegedly sleeping with married men and business failing and all this lies and all this stuff, and we don't care. So, I mean, we're going to see, you know, y'all grew up together. Y'all used to do stuff together. Y'all used to scam and scheme and trick men and all this stuff together in my mind. So, I mean, who cares? But we're going to talk about it next week, child. Part 3. And this is when they're going to bring the men on. And it's going to be 90 minutes, apparently. So, child, it's going to be a lot to talk about. Hopefully. But this part 2 was pretty good. It was actually better than part 1. So we're going to see, child. Anyway. With that said, I'm MrChalaki. MrChalaki on Google+. Follow me at Skinsworld on Instagram and Twitter. At Skinsworld89 on Snapchat. Cheers King on Facebook. MrChalaki on Cash App and PayPal. And as always, run me my money or run me my fade. Run me my money the way I get paid. Stay black. Stay tuned. And I'll see you guys later. Happy Black History Month.